Today will be a day to remember for the rest of your life. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is excited to present the Heart of a Hall of Famer program connected by Extreme Networks. With over 100 Hall of Famers participating, we have reached 47 states and countries all over the world, sharing the message that football is more than a game and can teach Americans important life values like commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty.
You have to make right decisions even when nobody's watching you.
Well, respect is not just given out. It's not handed out like a brochure. It's earned.
Today, you are presented with an opportunity to meet and learn from one of the greatest football players of all time. But more important than that, the chance to see that their Hall of Fame life wasn't given to them. They didn't roll out the bed great. They put the work in, on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, in their communities. They made themselves a Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Your feet can't take you where your mind's never been.
Because you can make it, but it's just gonna take a little hard work and some effort and the drive and determination.
And today, you will learn you can do the same thing they did. You don't have to have a gold jacket or a bronze bust to make a difference in the lives of others. It's your decision whether you want to be a successful student, son, daughter, brother, or sister.
If attitudes are contagious, is your attitude worth catching?
It's integrity as well, because when you decide to pursue something and you don't quit, that says a lot about you.
Commitment to excellence. We can all aspire to be the best.
Welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime program, the Heart of a Hall of Famer program, connected by Extreme Networks.
We played together with the Houston Oilers for 11 years. From the first time I saw him play, I knew that we had a lot in common. We were both old school. Good old smash mouth football. We respected the game and how the game was supposed to be played. Bruce and I had a similar work ethic and a mutual respect. We pushed each other to the next level. We were never satisfied. I credit Bruce for making me a better player. Through football, we became great friends. He is someone that I could always talk to anything about. Our families, our faith, football, our joint business ventures, life in general. Our families have become close. Our kids grew up together. Bruce is like a brother to me. I love this guy.
If someone had told me when I was a kid that one day I would play in the NFL and let alone be inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I wouldn't have believed them. I consider it an honor and a privilege to be standing up here today, and I'd like to thank the Lord Jesus Christ for blessing me and my family so much.
And with that, welcome to another installment of the Heart of a Hall of Famer series. We are at Cy Lakes High School in Katy, Texas, and featuring Hall of Famer Bruce Matthews. My name is Jack Bruce. I'm the Youth Education and Leadership Coordinator at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, where it is our mission at the Hall of Fame to honor the greatest of the game, preserve its history, promote its values, and celebrate excellence together. Focusing on the values of football of commitment, courage, honesty, integrity, and respect, which not only made Pro Football Hall of Famer Bruce Matthews a great football player, but also a great man on and off the field. With tying into that, before we dive into the values, I want to talk about and dish out some few thank yous to our partners at Extreme Networks for allowing us to come to schools across the country to do this great program, to hear the values of the game of football and life lessons as well. Thank you to the teachers and administrators of Cy Lakes High School for allowing us to come in here and do the program, as well as the schools tuned in virtually and remote. And one more thank you to our students as well, right? You guys are a part of this program. Without you guys, it would just be me up here talking to Bruce. So, think of some questions you want to ask, and what a great opportunity it is to get to hear from a Pro Football Hall of Famer. So last thank you, I want to thank to those tuning in on our YouTube Live. So feel free to type in the chat your school and your name, and we'll hopefully get to answer your question as well. So with the thank yous being said, I talked about the values: commitment, courage, honesty, integrity, and respect. Out of those, which one, sticks out the most to you, Bruce?
First, great to be here. Love seeing you guys. Know you're in the midst of a deep playoff run, hopefully. But I think the biggest thing is hard work one of those?
Not hard work. You could go commitment, right? Committed to have
Okay.
hard work. There we go.
Commitment. You, especially in athletics, have to be committed to the process. You have to be committed to your teammates, your coaches, and yourselves. And that's a huge part of any successful program, you know, especially in the offensive line. It's like a microcosm of the team that you got five guys who are trying to operate as one. And you got to be able to trust your buddy. And so you got to be committed to knowing what to do, doing it every play, and getting after it with maximum effort.
No, I totally get that. And I kind of wanted to ask a question similar to that realm. So, like, talk about commitment and hard work. When did you realize that football would be, something that you could really pursue, right? Obviously, you had to work hard on your craft to get to where you accomplished, right, being a Hall of Famer. But when did you realize at a point in your life where, hey, I can do this on a high level?
Well, I'll be honest. My dad played on the 49ers back in the 50s, and he didn't make us play football. He said, if you want to, you can go out and play. But I have three rules for you. First is you're going to go full speed. Second is you're not going to quit. And lastly, if I see you messing around on the field, I will personally come down out of the stands, grab you by the back of the neck. And so that was kind of how I operated. So my dad played in the league. My older brother, Clay Matthews, played in the league. He played 19 years for the Browns and the Atlanta Falcons. And I wanted to be like them. And the good Lord blessed me with a body. And, the bottom line is God's got to give you the talents and the abilities to allow you to make it to that level. But really privileged to play in the NFL. I've had my brothers had two sons play in the NFL. You might remember Clay Matthews the third, who played for the Packers, long-haired, blonde-haired kid. We called him Clay the Turd. That's funny, man. You're supposed to laugh. Then I had three boys that played in the league. Jake is still playing with the Falcons in his 12th year as left tackle, but just blessed. And that truly is one of the biggest things is every opportunity you go out there to compete, no matter what the experts say how the game's going to turn out. You got to go out there and just lay it on the line, especially at high school. And I'll be perfectly honest, I played at Arcadia High School, and some of my best friends still, I'm 64 years old, are guys that I played with in high school. The greatest memories that you're going to forge are going to be the memories that you're making right now.
I think that's a great message for our high school students, right? Those listening and those tuning in remote. Kind of tying into the high school question, we'll go to Arcadia. I think we'll go to next after this last question. That way it ties in, right? You mentioned the advice that you gave high school students, right? The best moments. Was there a moment in high school that you really remember, like to this day when you were playing?
Oh yeah. So my dad also said, always volunteer, be first in line in every drill and then volunteer. In ninth grade, they go, hey, we need a long snapper. So long story short, I had a knack for it, and I ended up snapping for the Oilers and Titans on punts and field goals for almost most of my career. In fact, I think I was the last long snapper to actually play a position.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they're a specialist. Don't get me going on that. But yeah, what was the question?
Favorite Favorite moment in high school that you
Oh, yeah. So we're playing our CIF championship was out in LA, and I'm the long snapper. I launched one over his head in the finals game. And I remember being crushed because we lost in overtime. And I go, man, that just sucks. It can't get any worse than that. And really, it became kind of a springboard for me that I wasn't going to be defined by a bad play. And so, what was a negative at the time turned out to be a positive and some that really motivated me throughout my career.
All right. And, everybody's going to make mistakes, right? It happens, and it's a learning experience too with that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Arcadia High School, we're going to turn it your way. Go ahead and step up to the camera, unmute your mic, and say what question you have for Bruce.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So I'm Timothy Morales, just so you know who I am. I play linebacker here at Arcadia. My question is, what's the separation from high school football to college ball?
The separation from, coming into high school, right, where he's at now, going into college ball, what's the big difference in the
Yeah,
game?
the big thing.
You're muted.
Oh no.
Technical difficulties.
Clay, Clay. Bruce, you're muted. Bruce, there you go.
We good? All right.
Yeah, there you go.
You go to college, all of a sudden there are married guys on the team, kids or teammates with children. It's just a huge, I thought, adjustment for me. And I went to USC, the Trojans. We're playing Oregon Saturday, hopefully going to take them down. But yeah, it was, you're going from being a kid to expectations of being a man. And I learned so much about football. It was amazing, the experience while I was at USC. My freshman year, we had 6 future first-round draft picks just on the offensive line in the meeting room. And Anthony Munoz, maybe the greatest offensive lineman ever. Yeah, we had 4 future Hall of Famers on that team, and it's like, oh my gosh, college football is the real deal. So that was the biggest adjustment. Just it's stepping up a level, going from college to the NFL as well. There is an adjustment, but nothing like going from high school to college.
Right. And I think we're looking, right? I'm looking at a lot of athletes in this room who are probably thinking about going off to play college ball. So with that, we'll turn it over to you guys. So what questions the Cy Lakes High School students have today? Does anybody want to stand up and ask first question? Go right here in the front. Say your name and what question you have.
I'm Quinn Dudley, the center. Hey, the entire teacher, or students, if you're out in the hallway, please report to the office. Go ahead. My question for you is, what do you think was the biggest deciding factor between playoff winning team and a normal winning team?
So I'll repeat that. So what was the biggest deciding factor between a playoff team and just a normal team? So what did it take, like, teamwork wise to work towards the playoffs?
And great question. Obviously, offensive lineman, always best looking, best bodies, best hair. No, there is a huge difference. And I've been on a bunch of crappy teams. And the thing about being on a losing team is you get that mindset that, oh, here we go again. And then all of a sudden, something breaks that cycle. And it's some of you seniors stepping up, which I know happened this year. And all of a sudden, it's like, I'm sick of losing. I'm going to refuse to allow this to happen. There's going to be accountability. If my buddy isn't doing it right, my teammate, then, get on his butt and stuff. And it's too, the season, it's like you just started, right? And here you are, it arguably could be the last game. And you got to have that mindset that I don't want this to be the last game. We're going to find a way, no matter how the situation or how the game goes, we're going to find a way to make plays and get it done.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I kind of want to tie into a little bit about your playing career. So you moved a little bit around on the offensive line, and you were an Iron Man, right? You played a lot of seasons, a lot of games. What was it like to have that flexibility to, move around the offensive line, to be that kind of reliable, stable pillar for your team?
Well, my biggest thing was, like my dad said, very influential. Do whatever the coach tells you. And if they told me, hey, we want you to play left tackle, we want you to go to center, I felt like they're saying, hey, this is a way for the team to be more successful. And like, who am I to turn that opportunity down? If they think it can help the team, then I'm all in.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And being reliable to your coach, right? And that shows out to your teammates too, right? Being able to do out there and go out there and help perform and help win, right? That has an effect on the teammates, right? Because that makes them want to be out there and do whatever they can to help win the game.
Absolutely. You think about all the hard work y'all have put in. The weather's cooling off, but think back to the 90-degree, pushing 100-degree days. And I wasn't out there just for my boyish good looks. I want to win.
Right.
And if you're doing something, or more importantly, not doing something that might make you a more successful player, then it's incumbent on me to make you aware of that.
Absolutely. Let's go back to our students here at Cy Lakes. Does anybody else have a question that they want to ask Bruce? Go right here.
I'm CJ Lewis, and I have just one question. What do you think, in your words, would be your most successful season, and why was it?
We'll repeat that. What was your most successful season, and why do you think it was your most successful season? What?
So in the NFL, it was in 1999. Anybody born then? No, obviously not. We became, yeah, we became the Tennessee Titans. We had been the Houston Oilers. We moved to Nashville, was 2 years as the Tennessee Oilers, and then we became the Titans. And they were bad years prior to the move. And then finally, what happened was it all comes together in 99. We become the Titans. We have a brand new stadium. We go 12-4. Amazing. Steve McNair, Eddie George were our quarterback and star running back. And it just, we had gone through so many bad years. I think we had learned how not to win, but we, like I said earlier, had to learn how to win. And we actually did that year. We played the Rams in the Super Bowl and got stopped 1 yard short of sending it to overtime, which of course we would have won.
There we go. And, obviously just being able there, right, to get to the Super Bowl with your teammates, that's an accomplishment, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not an easy feat to do in the National Football League. And one thing we like to do here in this program is to give students a look at what it means to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Specifically, we're going to go to Canton, Ohio, where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is located, to the Bus Gallery, which is arguably one of the most iconic places, in all of football, right, where all Hall of Famers receive a bronze bust. We got a special treat, right? We're going to send it over to Jake Ray at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he's going to give you a taste of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Museum.
All right. Thanks, Jack. You guys got me. Hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we want to thank you so much for being part of the program today. Bruce, from all of us here in Canton, Ohio, we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to to help us and be a part of this program. I've done this program a lot. I've had the fortunate ability to sit in that same seat that Jack sat in before and speak with you about your career. So super excited to be on this side of the phone now, to come to you guys live from Canton, Ohio, as Jack said, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, here in the Hall of Fame gallery in front of the class of 2007. And right here, the gentleman is sitting on your screens or in your classroom right now, Mr. Bruce Matthews. And just to talk a little bit about what it means to be a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In all of football history, there's been over 300 million people to play the game at any level, from Pee Wee all the way up to the NFL. About 5 million people have played in college, and just about 30,000 have been paid to either play, coach, or administer the game of professional football. And that gentleman sitting in front of you right now is one of 382 Hall of Famers. So only 382 are the best of the best to be inducted here in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and Bruce Matthews is one of those people. So, Bruce, I just want to talk a little bit about, we talked about at the beginning, Jack mentioned some of our core values, respect being one of those. And one of my favorite things to talk about is, becoming a Hall of Famer and that idea of respect. So you come to enshrinement every year, come back to Canton, see all the fellow Hall of Famers, over 100 of them, and you get to all sit in the same room at the same time. Nobody else, just the Hall of Famers. What is the level of respect like in that room? And what's it mean to you to sit down and sit around not only some people you may have looked up to, but that next generation that looked up to you as their heroes and their mentor?
Good. All right. Now, first off, I was told, you can tell I have a pretty big dome. And that was my best weapon, I think, as an offensive lineman. But they had to reinforce my shelf for my bus, because it was the biggest, one of the bigger ones. But anyway, I digress. Now, going to the Hall of Fame is amazing. When I was your age, I watched the NFL every Sunday and Monday night, and it was a dream to say that not only I would play in the NFL, but later be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's just been unreal. And really, in terms of my faith life, it's further confirmation that this is God's doing. I'm thankful that He blessed me with all the tools and the abilities to play the game. And if it weren't for the good Lord blessing me, there's no way I could make it. But man, I've had opportunities, and you guys won't even know the names, but to meet Bart Starr and Joe Namath and Walter Payton, and a lot of these guys have passed away, but just huge heroes of mine from when I was a kid. And it's funny now, the younger guys that are being inducted, it's like, dang, I'm getting old. And yeah, that's pretty apparent too. So.
Awesome. Well, Bruce, we want to thank you so much again for being a part of the program today. For myself and everybody here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, thank you so much, and we can't wait to see you back here very, very soon.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Jake. Following up on a question that I kind of want to talk about. So you mentioned some of the Hall of Fame teammates, right? Being a Pro Football Hall of Famer, you're now on the team of the Hall of Fame and those 382 Hall of Famers. But dialing it back to your career, whether it was in the NFL, high school, or college, was there a coach or teammate that really kind of made a pivotal impact on your career?
So when I finished with the Titans, Jeff Fisher, you guys remember him? He was our head coach. He was my college teammate at USC, okay? So my head coach in the NFL is my college teammate. And Mike Munchak was the guy who introduced me for induction to the Hall of Fame. He was my offensive line coach, my best friend in the world, right? So here I am with my college teammate as the head coach and my best friend as my position coach. And people would come and say, oh man, they must have given you all practice and everything. I'm like, hell no. I had to do more work because they go, we need you out there on the field setting an example for the younger guys. And yeah, I didn't want to screw it up for them. It was really important for me. I knew it was a privilege. It was, it's funny because I was always scared to death when practice started or a game started, because I go, oh, this is the week, this is the day they're going to find out I suck and they're going to cut me. And it was just, then the game would start. I'd get a couple plays under my belt, and then typically things went pretty well after that. But yeah, I never felt comfortable like I had arrived or I deserve this gold jacket, even though I am number 238 of how many? Three something?
382.
382. Wow, getting old. But yeah, it's a privilege. And coming to speak to you guys is a privilege, without a doubt.
Absolutely right. I have another question before we turn it over to another one of our remote schools. So be ready. I'll send it your way. But tying into, right, talk about privilege, talk about these high school students. Is there a piece of advice? We have your alma mater, Arcadia, tuned in, and we're sitting here with the Cy Lakes high school team, whether it's athletic focused or even academic focused. What advice would you give to high schoolers right now to help be successful?
This was definitely the case at college, but even in high school, I was so focused on what was next. It's like, oh, I got to get good grades so I'll be more desirable as a recruit, or I got to do this or do that. And before you know it, the time is up, especially in college. 4 years went by so fast. And I don't think I appreciated what I was experiencing. So, yeah, you guys are in the midst of just an amazing experience. Make sure you appreciate it and make sure you tell your buddy, you know, man, I'm thankful for you and the hard work you put in. Let's go out and find a way to get this done.
Right. You hear the analogy. It's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
Right. Enjoy the ride. Right. You guys are in the midst of a playoff run. Right. Go out there and compete and enjoy it while you're doing so. Okay. We're going to go to Eagleview Elementary. So student, you can step up to the mic and state your question in your name.
Where is Eagleview?
Eagleview.
Victoria, British Columbia, Canada.
British Columbia, Canada.
All right. So say your name.
Hello, my name is Lucas. And what was the hardest game for you and why?
Hardest game in your career and why?
Hardest game.
That's a good question.
It's they were all hard. They're very good players throughout. I mean, high school, college, NFL. It was scary sometimes in the NFL. I remember when I think it's in May, the upcoming season schedule comes out. And I would get like panic attacks. Like I'd see the Raiders and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to play against Howie Long that week. And the game's in 6 months, you know? But the thing about it was if you didn't prepare right, if you weren't on your game, that any week you could get embarrassed. So one of the coolest things was my older brother, Clay. Back in the day, the Oilers and the Browns were in the same conference, AFC Central. And I got to play against my brother. He was a linebacker. I'm an offensive lineman. We ended up playing against each other 23 times. And he beat me for a sack, said he felt bad about it. I think he was lying. But I loved playing against my brother too.
Yeah. That's a cool experience, right? Getting to match up against your brother. And, you faced a lot of great pass rushers over your career. You mentioned Howie Long. Was there another one that really gave you the works back in the day?
Bruce Smith of Buffalo Bills, I helped him in his Hall of Fame journey. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you watched a little bit of the game now?
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of great ones. Obviously, Miles Garrett's out there,
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, right? So in Houston, right? You guys had J.J. Watt for a while. So the game of football is continuing to grow, and
Yeah, the D linemen haven't changed though. They're all about sacks. That's all they talk about. You'll see them over on the side working their little hand drills. I'm like, man, get a life.
well, we'll stick on the current level before we go to our last school turn in Boone Grove. We'll go to you next here, but you watch the game today and you see how important the offensive line is, right? They don't get a lot of the credit. They do the dirty work, and when they mess up, right, they get the flack in the media for it. But how important is the offensive line, really?
Man, O-line is the reason teams are good or they blow, you know? And I know that's the case with your team. You go as the O-line goes, and you got to bring it every week. And it doesn't matter, we got these 60, 70, 80 plays, whatever, we got to find a way. And you got to work with your buddy and make sure there's good communication, um, so the pretty boys can do their thing. No offense, pretty boys, you're necessary as well.
Right? Football is a team game, but the
Absolutely.
offensive line is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, Boone Grove, they're in Indiana. So we got a school from Indiana. We'll go to you guys. Please step up to the mic. Go ahead and unmute and say your name and question.
My name is James. If you had any advice to give new students that are trying to get into football, what would it be?
Ooh, new students trying to get in football. That's a really good question. Thank you. What do you think? What advice would you give for people trying to get into the game of football?
I would assume at the high school level.
So this is elementary school. So they're
Oh, I gotcha.
so young.
I think it's play sandlot football. Play with your buddies out in the empty lot, and that's what I did. In fact, I weighed too much to play Pop Warner when I was a kid. And my brothers used to tease me that I was the first Matthews ever to be cut from a team because I weighed more than the limit. But came to Texas, they don't have that limit. But just understanding and appreciating the game. And then as you progress through your school years, they have football set up for you, and you can hopefully get some good coaching and learn to love the game at a whole new level.
Absolutely, right. Get involved early and start building, the skill sets, right? Football it's a very hard sport. It's a unique one, right? You have 11 different people going out there and doing unique things to help win the game.
And I think just playing pickup games where you're playing catch or, tag football, whatever it is, definitely helps.
For sure. All right, we're going to go back to Boone Grove. We're going to go to Miss Summers' class. They also have a question that they'd like to ask today, Bruce. So go ahead and step up, unmute your mic, and state your question.
Hi, my name is Raven. I want to know how it felt when you heard that you were going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Ooh, that's a fun one. When you got the call, Bruce, you're going to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What was going through that mind?
I had been told it was a possibility, but it was still, you got to be kidding. This is me we're talking about. I'm not Hall of Fame material. But the best part of it, my dad, who I told you earlier, had played in the NFL. He played 4 seasons over 6 years, was in the service for 2 years, but I wasn't able to get in touch with him till much later in the morning. And he called and I go, Dad, you hear the news? And he goes, what news? I go, about the Hall of Fame. He goes, did I make it? And he, and I go, nah, he goes, I got screwed again. But it really was a great pleasure and such a blessing. And like I said, when you start listing off some of the names of players that you get to rub elbows with, and it's unfortunate because so many players, obviously, we're getting older and passing, and but the cool thing is all the old linemen hang out together, and it's like nothing changes in terms of football.
Well, we have a few more questions before we wrap up the program, but I want to follow up on that, right? You said you O-linemen hang out. Who are you hanging out with when you come back to
Oh
campus?
yeah, Anthony Munoz, all the old linemen, John Hanna, Mike Munchak. You guys don't remember those names, but
I'm sure they do the same thing. The O-line hang out with the O-line. Same with offense, defense,
yeah,
special teams, right?
absolutely, yeah.
With that, yeah, and we'll go back to you guys at Cy Lakes High School. What other questions do you guys have before we start to wrap up here?
Bruce, can you, after playing a long career, can you kind of share with us a time where you had to overcome some adversity, whether it was on the field or off the field?
Oh, this is a really good question. Talking about adversity. We all face adversity in life. He mentioned either on the football field or off the football field.
Yeah, I was blessed. I played 19 years and I never missed a game due to injury. And again, a total God thing, right? And it's kind of been after football that I've really had the physical challenges. Had both my knees replaced, got infections, things like that. Shoulders jacked up. And it's like, man, this sucks, being hurt. And I get it. And I remember I was so thankful as a player, the times that I did get hurt and I played through it. It just that going through treatment, getting back on the field is a difficult time, but I'm doing this to play the game that I love. And I think that's the greatest takeaway that I have gotten from it, but I didn't necessarily learn it when I played. I'm learning it more now afterwards about how I was so blessed to be relatively injury free.
Yeah, and you mentioned passion, right? That like talking about passion, like you love the game of football, right?
Yeah.
And you probably were beat up at some points in certain games where you're probably like, man, I don't know if I should be playing, or maybe the trainer's giving you advice that not the best time to go out there and play. But the passion, you love the game so much, you love going out there for your teammates. It's a great message that we
I
can
was
all
scared to death.
take in. Yeah.
Even in practice, sometimes I didn't like guys taking my reps because I figured they're going to find out I suck and, they're going to replace me. I didn't like anybody playing my spot. So, yeah.
No, I get yeah, it's a competitive game, right?
Yes, definitely.
So we'll go one more question here to our students at Cy Lakes, and then I got one more before we wrap up the program. So we have a question in the back. All right.
I was Mary Johnson. I was wondering who was harder, blocking back on the 3 tech or
Ooh, blocking a 3 tech on the offensive line or blocking a Y9.
Well, the wide nines typically are out in the wide 9 so they can rush the passer, right? They only play the run if they have to, right? Especially at the NFL level. Them dudes on the inside, they may not necessarily have the best bodies, whatever. Like the Ravens defense in 2000 with Ray Lewis and Sirgusa and Sam Adams from A&M. They had their two defensive tackles were 360 plus, and they would come off the ball and just bust you in the mouth. And, you know, Ray Lewis, great player, obviously, right? Hall of Famer. But those guys up in front kept guys like me from being able to get a clean shot on Ray Lewis. So, yeah, there's challenges to every position, but neither one is easier. And to be honest, right now, neither one is desirable.
Yeah, like you said, you faced a lot of great pass rushers, you know, whether it was edge rushers, defensive tackles, those guys are coming after you, trying to get after the quarterback. So
Yeah.
the message we could take away from that is offensive line, that's the real job on the football field.
Absolutely.
So the offensive linemen in
They
here.
carry your O-line.
They carry your line. Yep. Okay. Last question here to wrap up the program, Bruce. So, you know, we talked for about, you know, a little over half an hour now. But if we could leave these kids today, those turning in remotely or in the classroom here today, or those who watch in the future, what advice would you give, whether it's life advice, football advice, character advice? What's one thing you want to leave these kids with today? If we didn't talk about anything today, this is the only thing we say. What do we leave?
I think enjoy the football experience, whether you're playing, whether you're a teammate, whether you're on the mullet squad, whatever it is. It's going to end at some point, and at some point you're not going to be able to do what you're doing now. And so just make sure you appreciate the whole process, especially with what y'all are going through and what you have going this weekend. Enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process, right? Enjoy the journey. Make as many memories as you can, right? Because you'll look back at it one day and you really enjoy, you know, what you went through with your teammates, your friends, right? And you develop those bonds, relationships, right? Even with your coaches, right? They may put some pressure on you guys. They may push you a little harder, but that's because they want you to succeed. And, you know, you never know where you're going to end up, right? You could end up maybe being a Pro Football Hall of Famer one day, but if not, right, we want to take you guys, take these values, take these character lessons that we talked about today and kind of apply them to your life. So with that, we're going to wrap up this installment of the Heart of a Hall of Famer series today, featuring Pro Football Hall of Famer Bruce Matthews. So let's go ahead and give Bruce one final round of applause here. Thank you again, Bruce, for all that you've done for the game of football. And those watching, we'll be doing